Hey traders, happy Sunday and welcome back to another video where we go over some trade setups for the week ahead as well as cover the trades that I am currently in. So we should start with that. My first trade I want to talk about is of course my Dow Jones trade or my US30 trade. I'm currently sitting slightly in profit. I did hold this thing over the weekend and still in it. If you're wondering why I'm not trading it directly on TradingView, it's because my brokerage does not support CFDs as regulated brokers don't do that in the US. So I have to trade things on the stock market or the futures market. I just do it in my ETFs on Webull. So I am still in this trade though. US30 is a trade I am currently long on and looking to hold on to going into this week. I think we are seeing a continuation so far that's pretty healthy for risk on assets. And what I mean by that is, of course, you have things like the dollar, you have things like the stock market. These things have different risk tolerances. People tend to buy the dollar when they're very unsure about the future. They're very fearful. And we can see that that has been the case for a long period of time. Just recently, though, we've had a little bit of optimism come back into the markets with the CPI numbers recently cooling a bit in the US. It is possible that the Fed may backstep on their super hawkish tone at some point sooner than expected, which could lead stocks to rise, the dollar to come down, etc. And until that trade sort of falls apart, I'm kind of looking to be on the side of, okay, well, let's see this thing continue to cool off and continue to come down. And so what does that leave me with? Well, it actually puts the stock market in a couple of the indices, by the way. We've got the US30 showing up on the top of the list, German 30 also. SPX is flirting with the idea of becoming a buy ranked asset on this list. But then you also have some risk on assets showing up. You have NZDJPY, you have NZDCHF, the NZD pairs seeming to look attractive on the buy side. Now, New Zealand dollars notably are risk on assets. They tend to do well when the market is optimistic. So if we take a look at example NZDJPY, this is another trade that I am looking to hold on to. I have this trade open. I'm unfortunately not logged into my broker. Let me actually pause and I'll show you that. Okay, and we are back. Sorry about that. I just logged into my Oanda here, and I am currently long on this pair, NZDJPY. I've got this one open again, another risk-on oriented currency pair. So my two trades right now are the two trades that I'm holding on to is US30 and NJ or New Zealand JPY on the long side. So both of these are buy trades that I have in going into this week, and so we'll see if we can catch a little bit of a runner on some of those crosses. And again, I like this thing from a price action standpoint. I bought it on a pullback on Friday, so price topped out around 86.74.5, came down, tapped that 38.2, and I decided, okay, I'm going to take a stab at it. And so far, it started off well, but we'll see if we can actually come back to the highs and perhaps even clear them this week. That would be the scenario for a good trade for me on NZDJPY. I will look to trail stops. Of course, if you guys are not already inside of the Discord channel, that is where I share all of my trades and trade alerts. So if you want to see what that looks like, I'll show you. So here's what it looks like. So anytime I take a trade, I share the full breakdown, the analysis behind the trade, my entries, my exits, everything else, etc. inside of the Discord channel. And I've shown you guys both the Edge Finder and the VIP group. So let me go ahead and remind you right now that we are doing our Black Friday sale. So we're going into Black Friday week, which is awesome. And I want to just make you guys aware that if you want to get access to the Discord channel or you want to join the Edge Finder or get access to the Edge Finder, you can get either or both for 40% off using the promo code down below in the description, YTVIP. Just click those links and it'll take you where you can actually get access to the tools for yourself. Okay, so take advantage of that. This is your week to do it. It's the best sale of the year. So I just want to make sure I make that public knowledge so you don't miss it, because every year we get somebody afterwards like, can I get the Black Friday sale? And it's like, oh man, where were you? The sale was only for that week. So yeah, check it out. Anyways, let's go back to the Edge Finder and see if we can find some more assets. And actually, maybe we could take a look at the smart money tracker here, see what's going on here. So US dollar still heavily on the long side overall on the smart money tracker. So I'm not super insistent on shorting the dollar by any means. But on the flip side, Let's see, we have JPY, AUD, GBP, these things sort of on the lower end, with New Zealand dollar really rising recently. In fact, I want to actually go look at my NZDJPY idea here for a second, and we'll pull up this pair and see what's been going on. So let's see, in terms of COT data, the NZD does have a higher long positioning than the JPY from smart money traders. So smart money traders, big money, hedge funds, whatever you'd like to call them, doesn't matter. 25% of their positions on the futures market on the Japanese yen. On the Japanese yen futures, 25% are on the long side and a whopping 75% are on the short side. So that is super short biased on the JPY. So I'm pretty interested in staying long NZD against JPY until further notice. We also have other factors. You can pause the video if you want to take a look at this closer, but you have, for example, seasonality. This is showing that during the months of November and December, we historically have seen the NZD JPY pair rise on average. That is just an average. It's not a guarantee. And again, it's just something that we factor into the analysis. We take into all these things into account, and it gives us an overall bias, right? And that's how we use the Edge Finder. So again, lots and lots of people using this currently to help assist, get more insights on the trades they're looking to take. And that is why, again, I use it so often in my videos. It really, really does help because it allows me to look for exactly what I'm looking for just by going to the score chart summary. So let's go back to this and see if there's anything else. So NZD CAD, we'll take a look at NZD CAD. This was another one that we discussed last week and that I'm watching still for a potential buy on a retest of perhaps like the 50% retracement. If you get a deeper retracement on this one, I will be looking at that a little bit closer. We're currently sitting a little bit too high for my liking. I'd like to see this thing give us a nice pullback, and then there may be that opportunity to look long going into the week. Now let's take a look at a big one, of course, gold. Gold looking rather bearish going into the end of this week. In fact, we closed significantly under support, which was a big deal for the sellers. And you could see sellers kind of taking over this trend towards the end of the week, right? We had this upward trend, right? Entered into sideways market. That's fine. We're still not necessarily bearish, but then bam, on the end of the week, I think you might go bearish this week on gold, or at least sideways, because what you've got here is you've got a major level of structure broken, right? So bulls were so adamant about this level, right? They jumped off this level multiple times, but then failed there on Friday. So going into this week, watch that level. Again, gold is looking from a technical analysis standpoint like it might be getting tired here and may be retreating for a bit of a sell move. Now, again, that's off the back of a really strong run up for gold. So I'm not saying it's necessarily just, collapsing back down to the lows. I'm just saying that right now we did close pretty bearish on last week, and you may get a bit of a continuation move, a little bit more, maybe the first half of this week, you see gold retreat a little bit further. Taking a look at gold on the Edge Finder here, I happen to know, I think it's pretty neutral. Yep, we're very, very neutral on the Edge Finder, though the trend is still to the upside on the a little bit higher time frame, which is kind of what we were alluding to, right? You had the signs of a potential deeper pullback, but still the upward trend that's been going on recently. So, sorry, my cat is currently, oh, you can probably hear him. He's having a moment. He wanted to get in front of the mic. So, yeah, so gold, like I said, pretty neutral for me. So there's not like a huge bias for me to go long or short gold, but just from purely a technical standpoint, it does look like it may be headed for a little bit deeper of a retracement move going into this week. And again, I like to stick around the Edge Finder in my analysis because it allows me to show you guys more moves or trade ideas that I'm just straight up more biased on, right? If something floats in the middle here, I'm just not going to have a lot of bias to take trades on it. And I'm not probably going to trade any of these currency pairs or assets until they start to build a bias. So we've taken a little bit of a look on the long side. So NZDJPY, one that I like, continuations of US30. So maybe I'll add a little bit more to my US30 idea. So I'm currently long, like I showed you guys at the beginning of the video, but I'm looking for this thing to break through the highs. If you're not in this trade right now, but you like the idea of being bullish, here's what I'm thinking. If we see a breakout, right? There may be an opportunity for me to even add to my trade, Or if you're not in the trade, you may watch this zone. Of course, trade your own style, whatever that is to you. But for me, I just like simple price action, like breaks and retests. So if we were to be able to clear this high pretty convincingly, like if you were to see something like that, retest into that recent supply zone could be turned into demand, and you may see a nice rally from the bulls there. So, okay, sorry about that. I had to let the cat out of the room. He's being super demanding right now. So again, like I was saying, a potential re-entry idea for US30 would be breaks and retests going into this week, something that may actually be interesting to me to potentially add. I mean, I don't mind the idea of maybe adding to this trade or picking up the S&P 500 alongside it if that does decide to flip into bullish territory. So there's a couple of buy ideas that I have. Let's flip it around and take a look at some of the sell ideas. So not coincidentally, we have a lot of the NZD crosses. So I don't want to spend too much time because you guys already heard me rant on, I think NZD might have a little bit of a push coming, but also USO. This is oil. So if we take a look at oil, this was really interesting to me because I have not traded oil for a while, but this came into my radar here from the Edge Finder, where you kind of had this like higher time frame trend to the downside going on, right? Where you've got this, you've got moving averages moving down, lots of strength to the downside there, and the trend seems to be picking up. So when we look at this thing, you had this break of structure coming down hard, right? And the level that sticks out to me pretty clearly, and I'm sure a lot of you guys see it too, is right there, right? So this idea, let's drop it back down to the 4-hour chart. And if we narrow in on this and we say, okay, here's a swing top, here's a swing low, right? Swing high, swing low. There's your past support, which major support in this area, launched off that, higher lows, higher highs, but then fell apart, right? So that point was like, okay, that's our real start to the downtrend. You had a lower low and bam, flew to the downside. So if this thing does rally up into the 50% retracement area going into this week, I think oil might actually be a nice sell side opportunity. Again, it'll be an interesting one to watch this week if we actually even get that pullback, but you may be wanting to see price retest the lows, which gives us a pretty good sized move that we could take advantage of. So if you're talking about possible retest sells, stops above structure, and this is just a loose idea. Again, I'm gonna have to watch to see if price actually gets there for this to trade, for this trade to set up. But if this were to happen, like if we were to get a bit of a rally on oil this week, and it enters into an area of supply like this, it could be a nice opportunity to look to get short and go against that upward swing. So a little bit of a different market than we usually talk about, but still a pretty clean sell in my opinion going into this week. So oil is on the Edge Finder. Of course, we have currency pairs, we have commodities, and we have the indices as well. So we've incorporated pretty much all the major things that currency traders, or I guess just Forex traders, tend to focus on. So EURUSD still hovering into a sell area, so maybe we should talk about the euro. So the euro coming in at a sell ratio for, let's go look at that. So some of you guys know some of my best trades ever have been on the euro dollar just in the last year or so. I've been very short biased on this thing. So it's still trending well to the upside. So I don't necessarily want to get short on this thing just yet. But if this trend cracks, you guys, I will definitely be looking at the euro dollar a lot closer. So we're sitting at resistance, which you might say, oh, we'll just sell it in resistance, which I mean, that's a fair idea. But what we have been seeing too is we've been seeing some nice moves here from the euro, like a lot of impulsive buying, and I don't want to jump right in front of that before a potential continuation higher. What I would like to see though is, can we see the euro dollar sort of top and break structure? So these areas, can we start seeing something like this? If that begins to happen, any swing back up, I'll look to get short and try and continue the move. So what I need to see for euro dollar to really set up for me as a possible entry would be resistance to start holding on the higher time frames, right? Here's your daily chart where we tagged up into that 1.040. If we can hold this area and we start to actually show signs of lower lows, lower highs on the, the hourly and the 4-hour chart, if that begins to happen, I may look to try and get short on EURUSD. And of course, if I take any of these trades, I will be sharing them inside of our Discord channel. Every trade I take passes through here. So, anything you see on my channel, any of my trade videos that you see, I record the full thing inside of our Discord channel as well. So remember, take advantage of the discount that we are doing, 40% off for our VIP group if that's something you're interested in, or the Edge Finder, which is our market scanning software that I often reference in our videos. So if you're not already accessing one or both of these products, then you can get access now for 40% off using the link and promo codes down below in the description. Thank you guys for tuning in to this week's segment, and I hope you guys all have great trading weeks. We'll see you back next time.